A barefoot child covered in bruises burst through the diner doors gasping for help, and 15 leather-clad veterans knew their quiet Sunday ride had just become a war. The Wyoming sun barely touched the Bighorn Peaks when Jake, Chief Brennan's motorcycle, rumbled onto the empty highway. Behind him, 14 other Harleys followed in tight formation, their engines creating a symphony of controlled thunder that echoed off canyon walls. At 67 years old, Chief's hands gripped the bars with the same certainty they'd held a rifle during 3 tours that officially never happened. The Legion patch on his vest, a silver eagle clutching a shield, caught the morning light as he led his men toward their monthly breakfast stop. The Crossroads Cafe sat alone where 2 forgotten highways intersected, a weathered monument to small-town America. Inside, locals hunched over coffee cups, some nodding acknowledgement as the riders entered, others finding sudden interest in their scrambled eggs. Country music drifted from an ancient jukebox, while a television mounted above the counter showed the president discussing economic recovery. Chief removed his gloves methodically, surveying the interior with tactical awareness that decades couldn't erase. His team, former Green Berets, Rangers, Force Recon Marines, moved with practiced efficiency toward the back tables. They looked like any motorcycle club, gray-bearded, leather-clad, intimidating, but the way they positioned themselves, maintaining sight lines and exit routes, revealed their true nature. Rita, the owner and morning waitress, approached with cautious familiarity. She'd served them before, knew they paid well and caused no trouble, but old prejudices died hard in towns like Millstone. "Coffee all around?" she asked, already pouring. Chief offered a weathered smile. "Yes, ma'am, whatever special you're running today." As Rita worked her way around the tables, Chief noticed the photograph behind the counter, a young soldier in desert camouflage beneath a banner reading, "Supporting Our Troops." The 1,000-yard stare was unmistakable. "Your boy?" Chief asked when she returned. Her defensive posture softened. "My Danny, 4th Infantry, made it back from Iraq." "Good outfit," Chief nodded. "Solid men." "You serve?" "Special Forces, Korea, then other places." He never elaborated. Some operations remained classified decades later. The tension in the cafe had begun easing when the front door exploded inward. A little girl, maybe 7 years old, wearing a torn pink dress, stood trembling in the entrance. Dirt streaked her face. Her feet were bare and bleeding. A purple bruise darkened her left cheek. "Please," she gasped, tears cutting paths through the grime. "They're hurting my mama. Please help." Time suspended. Then the child's legs gave out. Chief moved with startling speed, catching her before she hit the floor. He knelt, bringing himself to her eye level. "Who's hurting your mama, sweetheart?" The girl pointed toward the window, toward the trailer park visible through the trees. "Derek, he's hitting her again. There's blood." Chief examined the bruise under her eye. "Did Derek do this too?" She nodded, a single tear falling. "What's your name?" "Emily." "Emily Jackson." As Chief steadied the child, Mitchell, the Legion's medic, former Army field surgeon, approached with his ever-present medical kit. While he checked Emily for injuries, she reached out and touched Chief's Legion patch. "My daddy had one of these," she whispered, "before he went to heaven." Chief and Mitchell exchanged knowing looks. "Your daddy was military?" Emily nodded. "Mommy keeps his uniform in a special box. She cries when she looks at it." Mitchell gently examined her bruise, while Chief kept her attention focused. "Your daddy was a brave man." "Mommy says he was a hero." Derek says he was stupid. Her small face hardened with inappropriate rage. "I hate Derek." Chief glanced back at his men. They sat perfectly still, expressions shifting from relaxed to predatory. Veterans who recognized evil when they saw it. "How far did you run, Emily?" Mitchell asked, checking her feet. "I don't know. Derek was sleeping after he hit Mommy. I snuck out." "Brave girl," Chief said, meaning it. He looked at Rita. You know this Derek? Her expression tightened. Derek Patterson, ex-military police, works security at the copper mine. Mean drunk. Chief nodded once, decision made. He turned to Emily. We're going to help your mom. Mitchell here will make sure you're okay while we do that. He stood, addressing his team. Grizzly, Falcon, Timber, you're with me? Viper, call the sheriff. Tell him domestic situation at the trailer park. Everyone else, stand by. The men moved immediately, no questions. The chain of command remained unbroken decades after their active service ended. Grizzly, a massive man with a gray beard, spoke as he rose. Rules of engagement: protect the innocent, stop the threat, no permanent damage unless necessary. 4 riders headed for the door, while Mitchell stayed with Emily, already cleaning her feet with antiseptic wipes. Rita appeared with orange juice, setting it before the frightened child. Take care of her, Chief told Mitchell. We'll handle this. Outside, the Wyoming sky stretched impossibly blue above pine-covered mountains. Chief mounted his Harley, the familiar vibration centering him. The other 3 followed suit, engines roaring to life. 2-by-2 formation, Chief commanded. Grizzly with me, Falcon and Timber behind. Standard approach. If he's armed, I take point. They pulled out in perfect order, 4 aging warriors on iron horses riding toward battle. As they rode, Chief felt the familiar calm descending, the clarity that always preceded action. His mind flashed to another rescue, another time. Korea, 1952. Frozen mountains. 18 men pinned down. Lieutenant Brennan leading 6 through a blizzard to reach them. 3 days fighting through snow and enemy fire. 13 survivors. A medal he never wore. The trailer park appeared ahead, scattered mobile homes attempting dignity through flower boxes and painted shutters. Chief slowed, signaling reduced speed. Number 12, Rita had said. Blue trim, broken screen. They found it easily. A late-model Ford truck sat in the gravel drive, its pristine paint contrasting sharply with the faded trailer. Beer cans littered the yard. The screen door hung crooked, one hinge torn away. Chief cut his engine. The others followed, sudden silence heavy with anticipation. From inside came the sound of breaking glass, followed by a woman's muffled cry. "Grizzly, take the back," Chief ordered. "Falcon, watch the truck. Timber, with me." Grizzly, former Force Recon Marine, vanished around the trailer's side with surprising stealth. Timber, ex-Army Ranger with silver-streaked hair, positioned himself beside Chief. They approached without attempting stealth. Surprise was sometimes less effective than intimidation. Chief knocked 3 times, hard enough to rattle the aluminum door. "Derek Patterson, open up," sounds ceased abruptly. Heavy footsteps approached. The door swung open, revealing a man in his early 40s, muscular but developing a beer gut. His stained tank top showed what looked like blood. Bloodshot eyes assessed the leather-clad men on his doorstep. "Who the hell are you?" The little girl made it to the cafe. Chief replied evenly. "We're here for her mother." Derek's face darkened. "That little bitch ran off. This is private property. Get lost before I call the cops." "Already called them," Chief said. "They're coming." "Now step aside." Like hell. Derek started pushing the door closed. Chief's boot intercepted it with practiced precision. "The girl says her mother is bleeding. We can do this easy or hard, but either way, we're coming in." Derek hesitated, calculating through alcohol and anger. Something in Chief's eyes made him take a half-step back. It was all the opening Chief needed. He pushed forward into the trailer, Timber right behind. The interior was dark, cluttered, violent. Overturned furniture, a broken lamp, scattered magazines. The television played to an empty room. A soft whimper drew their attention to the kitchen. A woman lay crumpled against the refrigerator, one arm raised protectively over her face. Blood trickled from her nose and a cut on her forehead. Her blonde hair, so like her daughter's, was matted with sweat and blood. Timber moved toward her immediately while Chief kept his attention on Derek, who had backed against the wall, fists clenching. "Linda," Timber said softly, kneeling beside the woman. "Emily sent us. We're here to help." At her daughter's name, the woman lowered her arms slightly. "Emily, is she safe?" "She's fine." At the cafe with our medic, brave kid, relief washed over Linda's battered features, followed immediately by fear. "You need to go. He'll only get worse when you leave." "We're not leaving without you," Timber said firmly. Derek took a step forward. "The hell she's going anywhere. This is my house. She's my—" "Finish that sentence, and you'll be picking your teeth up," Chief interrupted quietly. No anger, just absolute certainty. Derek faltered, then rallied. "You don't know who you're dealing with, old man." "I was military police. Fort Carson. I know my rights." Chief allowed a cold smile. "I know exactly who you are, Specialist Derek Patterson. Dishonorable discharge, 1979. Conduct unbecoming. 2 domestic violence charges dropped because victims wouldn't testify." Derek's eyes widened. "How did you—" "I ran training operations at Carson in '78, Command Sergeant Major, 7th Special Forces Group. You wouldn't remember me, but I was briefed on all troublemakers. I made it my business to know the bad apples." The revelation hit like a physical blow. Derek's false bravado evaporated. "This is still my house," he insisted weakly. "Not for long," came Grizzly's rumbling voice from the back door. He stepped into the kitchen, filling the doorway. "Sheriff's 3 minutes out." Chief nodded without taking his eyes off Derek. "Timber, get the lady up. We're leaving." As Timber helped Linda to her feet, Derek made his mistake. Perhaps it was alcohol. Perhaps humiliation. He lunged toward the kitchen drawer. Chief moved with reflexes honed through 3 decades of conflict. His hand clamped Derek's wrist before it reached the drawer. With practiced efficiency, Chief twisted the arm behind Derek's back and forced him face first against the refrigerator. "That was stupid," Chief said conversationally, applying just enough pressure to maintain control. He glanced into the open drawer, noting the revolver inside. "Smith & Wesson Model 10, nice weapon. Illegal for you to own with that discharge." Derek struggled briefly, then went still as Chief increased pressure. Timber moved to the drawer, removing the revolver and securing it in his jacket. "Evidence!" Sirens wailed in the distance. Moments later, Grizzly and Linda emerged from the hallway, Linda clutching a small duffel bag. "Let's move," Chief ordered. "Timber, escort the lady. Grizzly, with me." As Timber guided Linda toward the front door, Derek twisted his head. "You leave now. Don't bother coming back. You and that brat are done here." Linda paused, her back straightening. When she turned, something had changed in her expression. Fear remained, but alongside it burned defiance. "My husband gave his life for this country," she said, voice stronger than before. "He was worth 100 of you." She walked out without waiting for response, Timber close behind. Chief released Derek with a shove that sent him stumbling. "Sheriff can deal with you now. We've got more important things to do." Outside, 2 police cruisers pulled in, lights flashing. From the lead vehicle emerged Sheriff David Anderson, a lean man in his early 60s with weathered features. He surveyed the scene with practiced assessment. The 4 motorcycles, Timber helping Linda toward them, Chief and Grizzly emerging from the trailer. "Jake Brennan," the sheriff said, a complex mixture of emotions crossing his face. "Should have known the Legion would be involved when dispatch said bikers." Chief nodded once. "David, been a while. Chosen wasn't long enough. There was no humor in the question, just the weight of shared history." "Apparently not." The 2 men stared at each other, decades of history flowing between them like electricity. Once brothers in arms at the Chosen Reservoir, now representatives of different approaches to justice. The sheriff sighed. "Johnson, check on the lady." As the deputy moved toward Linda, the sheriff returned his gaze to Chief. "Want to tell me what happened?" "Little girl came into the cafe, beat up, said her mother was being attacked." We responded, "Vigilante justice isn't how we do things here." "Justice had nothing to do with it," Chief replied evenly. "Protection of the innocent, something we both swore an oath to do." The sheriff's jaw tightened, but he didn't dispute it. "Derek in there, armed and dangerous, Smith & Wesson in the kitchen drawer. Timber confiscated it for safety, but you'll want it for evidence. Felon in possession." Sheriff Anderson nodded to his second deputy. "Stevens, secure the suspect. Use caution." As the deputy headed toward the trailer, the sheriff lowered his voice. "This is going to be messy, Jake. Derek's got friends at the mine. Union representative, they won't take kindly to the Legion rolling in." "We're not a gang," Chief said flatly. "We're veterans, and we don't stand by while women and children get beaten. Neither do I. But there are procedures, laws that would have helped after she was dead." Something in the sheriff's expression shifted. The girl ran for help. 2 miles through the woods, barefoot. The sheriff removed his hat, running a hand through thinning hair. "Little soldier, that one. Said her daddy was military. Richard Jackson, 75th Ranger Regiment, killed in Afghanistan, 2009, left behind a wife and daughter." Chief absorbed this information with a slight nod. Rangers were elite soldiers, worthy of respect. "The boy was one of yours then?" "He was," Sheriff Anderson confirmed. "Good man. Solid. Born here, went into the army to escape the mine. Linda took it hard when he died. Started seeing Derek about 3 years back. We all hoped it would work out." Behind them, the deputy emerged with Derek in handcuffs, cursing steadily. Derek's eyes locked on Linda. "You're dead, bitch," he shouted, struggling. "You hear me? Dead." Sheriff Anderson turned sharply. "Get him in the car, Stevens. Now." As the deputy wrestled the still shouting Derek toward the cruiser, the sheriff returned his attention to Chief. "I need statements from all of you, and I need you to stand down after this. Let the law handle it." "We're not looking for trouble, David." "No, but you sure as hell find it." The sheriff sighed heavily. "I know what the Legion stands for. I respect it. But this isn't a war zone. Felt like one to the girl and her mother." Before the sheriff could respond, commotion erupted at the patrol car. Derek had broken free and was charging toward Linda, face contorted with rage. Grizzly moved to intercept, but Falcon was closer, stepping directly into Derek's path. The collision was brief and decisive. Derek, fueled by alcohol and anger, threw a wild punch that Falcon easily deflected. The former helicopter pilot countered with a single precise strike to the solar plexus that doubled Derek over. Sheriff Anderson watched the encounter with resignation. "That's assault on my deputy now, too. He's looking at serious time." He turned back to Chief. "You got what you wanted." "Protection," Chief corrected. "Justice is your department." The sheriff nodded slowly. "I'll need you all at the station for statements. Then I want the Legion clear of this situation." "Until he makes bail," Chief pointed out. "Men like that don't stop." A troubled expression crossed the sheriff's features. "I'll see what I can do. For now, get the lady and her daughter somewhere safe. Motel out on Highway 14 should work." "Appreciate it, David." As the sheriff moved away, Grizzly approached Chief. "What's your history with the lawman?" Chief watched the sheriff conferring with his deputies. "Korea, Chosin Reservoir. He was a sniper in my unit. Saved my life twice. After the war I stayed in Special Forces, Black Ops. David came home, put on a badge, believed in working within the system. We've disagreed ever since about how justice gets delivered." Grizzly nodded, understanding. "Different methods, same goal." "Maybe. Not sure David sees it that way anymore." They returned to the cafe where Emily sat with Mitchell, eating pancakes. When she saw her mother, she scrambled from the booth and ran into Linda's arms. "Mommy, you're okay!" Linda winced at the impact, but knelt to embrace her daughter, tears streaming. "I'm okay, baby. You were so brave." Chief watched the reunion with an expression his men rarely saw, something close to tenderness. Then he gathered his team. "Derek made bail by afternoon," he told them later at the motel. "We maintain security here. No one touches this family again." The days that followed became a carefully orchestrated operation. The Legion discovered Derek's connections ran deeper than expected. His uncle controlled the miners' union. His cousin sat on the mine's board. The Patterson family had poisoned Millstone for generations through corruption and environmental crimes. Richard Jackson, they learned, had been gathering evidence against the Pattersons before his deployment. Documentation Linda still had, hidden in a safety deposit box Derek never knew about. The Legion secured the evidence, contacted federal authorities, and prepared for Derek's inevitable retaliation. When he came with his hired muscle, Chief was waiting. The confrontation was brief but decisive. Derek arrested, his family's crimes exposed, federal investigators descending on the mine. Through it all, Emily called Chief Grandpa, a title that pierced deeper than any bullet. She drew pictures of her new family, her mother, herself, and the leather-clad veterans who had saved them. Weeks later, in a federal safe house deep in the mountains, Chief sat with Emily on a porch overlooking pristine wilderness. "Will I see you again?" she asked, showing him her latest drawing. "Eventually," he promised. "The Legion doesn't forget its family." She leaned against his side, small and trusting. "Promise?" "I promise," Chief said, and meant it with every fiber of his being. Above them, an eagle circled before setting course toward distant peaks. Chief watched it go, feeling a completion he hadn't experienced in years. One mission ended, another would begin. The Legion's work was never truly finished. But for now, with Emily beside him and justice served, Jake, Chief Brennan, was at peace.